Okay, so we're back after all those commercials that you saw, or not. We should do an infomercial for this.
Yes, we should.
Just-
Billy Mason.
yeah. So,
I'm ready to get the beard. Sorry.
yeah, you just need the.
I just need to darken it.
Yeah.
Just put like some dark chalk or something.
Did he have like a mic? I forgot. No, it was that guy was with the
He
gun.
had like a blue shirt and he's had like.
Yeah. And he died out of right?
What?
He died out of an overdose.
No, I think he hit his head on a plane or something. No, and then he like died. But they found cocaine in the system.
For the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, right now in this final segment, we're coming back with some soccer, some football, and well, we're gonna start with the Mexican players that we're gonna see in Europe from this current batch, the ones that won the medal, and that was like a big thing. Everybody saw it. I'm sure. I don't need to tell you about it. I mean, I have to tell you about the fact that Mexico won the gold medal in soccer for the first time ever against Brazil. Well, just Google it up. I mean, like it was pretty amazing. Like it was like like one of those things that you.
I shed a tear.
Yeah, you shed a tear. Yeah, it was okay. And like the sucky thing is that like reading. It's one of those things that like we Mexicans are kind of like funny peeps because we still need validation from everybody else.
Yeah.
And then I was reading all the like the English language and then the Spanish, like from Spain, and they were all talking about how Brazil choked.
Right.
Very few articles were talking about what Mexico did right, and that's kind of infuriating. But I guess that's kind of life when.
Yeah, well, I feel like once you set a standard with a team that I think people always end up looking at that team like, why did they fail instead of, I guess, the quote unquote lesser team, like, why did they win? Like the Lakers, man.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the Lakers like, why are they losing instead of the Clippers? Like, why are they winning? The Clippers are winning.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody seems to care. The Lakers are losing. It's like, oh, the world's falling apart. So,
Isn't it?
Sort of, but yeah, like Brazil, I feel like that's kind of the case where they had like a few players that were sold for like huge amount of money, and those guys didn't really come through, or
Mm-hmm.
or even Neymar, who was like hyped up as like the next whoever you want to say, who did well, but I don't think he showed that he's like the next Messi or the next Ronaldo. Maybe to you, but I don't think he. Even in the lead up before, I don't think he's shown flashes, but I feel like people think he's going to be more like the next Robinho than the next Ronaldinho or something.
Yeah, I think that like, I'm calling this. Brazil is not winning the next World Cup. Yeah, it's just, and I think they're not winning it because their players are way too interested in the money, and they go to really sucky teams or like non-competitive teams. I mean, like if we think about the forwards of Brazil, they're all playing like in Russia, and they're playing or like Hulk, which I think he was actually better than Neymar.
Yeah.
He's playing in like I forgot which team in Russia.
Porto?
No, he transferred.
Yeah.
Got transferred from Porto, and so not Portos, okay. So, and I guess that brings it back to the Mexican team, which we were talking about all these Brazilians that had already been sold for a ton of money. Neymar supposedly everybody's fighting for him, which I really don't see the big deal. You had Marcelo, who plays in Real Madrid. All these players, and like if you look at the transfer, amount between one player, one team and the other, it was dismal. Like it was. But then that's what happened. Like kind of reinforcing this thing of these Brazilians can get contracts, like big contracts in all these different leagues, even if they're not even as competitive as before. But then so far, none of the Mexicans until yesterday, the second to the last week of December, were actually contracted for to play in Europe, and that kind of like brings the big question of there were like 18 or 19 players, most of them under 23. None of them, were contracted straight up, and I think that's right now like we finally have Diego Reyes,
Right.
Diego Reyes from America that
Who went to Porto.
Porto, yeah, and supposedly Hector Herrera is next, the guy from Pachuca, the one that has like big ears.
Yeah.
He's like, and those two, and then like I think Fabian is just a matter of time, same as Chaton. Those are the four. But who do you? I mean, let's play the like devil's advocate from all that team and like the flashes that we saw, and all these players that will always stay in our memory because they won the gold medal. Who do you see just kind of like having a very modest type of career in Mexico? Never really like amounting to.
Man.
Everybody?
No, I mean, I think like Herrera is gonna have a good career. I think Reyes actually, I felt like he's a solid player, but maybe, I don't know, maybe just the fact that he's so thin, it kind of like I worry that like he's not gonna physically be able to keep up with some players. But I'm trying to think of like that team, like who was starting that.
Peralta,
yeah, he's not gonna. I don't think he's too old, and I think he said he's not gonna go anywhere if they're gonna pay him more than what he's making in Mexico, which is not gonna happen. Man, sorry, I can't think of any guys that like Jimenez. I think he's gonna be okay. I don't see that guy going anywhere. And who else? There's this dude that plays for Pumas, I think. Kind of stocky guy. I forget his name. Like he's like really stout.
Stout, yeah.
I forget what his name is. He came in one of the games like off the bench and he scored a goal, but I forgot what his name is.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Like I feel that guy is not gonna go anywhere. It's easy to say that if he was off the bench, but I don't know, man. I think Iran Mier. That guy's a toss-up. Like I think he's a solid player, and I think I feel like it's too early to be comparing. Like a lot of people are saying like he's like the next Rafa Marquez, or actually some people say that Javier Reyes too. Man, I feel like it's a little early for both of those guys to be compared. But I don't know. That guy, I feel like he can go either way. Like I mean, I guess anybody can go either way, but. I think he has maybe another year in Mexico, and if he doesn't go, then after that, I don't think he'll do much. Like if he goes after a year, then I think.
What do you think of Aquino? Javier Aquino from Cruz Azul.
That guy, that's one of actually. I'm glad you brought him up. I think he's one of those players that's gonna. Even if he does go to Europe, I don't think he'll break through over there. I think he's gonna be one of those players that are good in Mexico, but not anything past that. I like him though. I mean, I like him even on the Mexican team when he took over Barrera, who was playing like a really shitty level and was still getting a starting job. I think he played well with the Mexican team, but I don't think he's gonna be like any kind of superstar player. Darwin Chavez, that guy, I think I don't know. I always get him confused with Nestor Vidrio.
Yeah, and Vidrio, I think that. He could have transferred this, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
I'm calling it. And Araujo,
that guy, I don't think he's going to. Yeah. That guy for sure, I'm pretty sure he's not going to. He's going to be like that. He plays for Cruz Azul, defender. Cata Dominguez.
Yeah, Cata Dominguez.
I feel like he's going to have the same career as that guy. Jimenez, that guy, actually, I think he's okay, man. I don't know if he's going to do well in Europe, but I think he'll be like, at the very least, he'll be a star in Mexico. I don't know why. I just feel like I feel like he's like, he projects like this confidence that you usually don't see in like forwards in Mexico that we've talked about before, where takes him 10 tries to score a goal. I feel like that guy, I don't know, I feel like he projects confidence. It's like a weird thing to like some guy for. But.
No, I think that's it's just kind of like one of this that like if we're talking about this same team and you're looking at this in our phones, if we were talking about like the Brazilian team or the Dutch team or the Argentinian team, all these players like there'd be a couple that will never go to Europe, but in Mexico it's just like the opposite. I mean like most of them. I mean that's kind of like why I asked, because most of them
Yeah.
That's what happened in 2005 when they won, like the under 17, or in 2000. It was 2011 when they won the under 17 again.
I think
or 2010. Oh, yeah, one of those. I mean, like, I don't think any of them have, like actually, amounted to much,
It's 2011.
2011, yeah, and yeah, that's even worse because, well, there were two. Yeah, Ulises Davila,
Oh, right.
who's playing the second division in Spain, and
He signed Chelsea.
yeah, but yeah.
Right.
And then that guy that won for a month, I mean,
Edson.
Edson Rivera,
Right.
yeah, who
Went to Portugal.
and nothing happened. Now he's back. So that's basically
And then Marco Bueno, no?
Marco Bueno. Yeah, but nothing happened.
Yeah, he went
like,
to Liverpool and then he came back.
Yeah, he just tried. So, and I don't know if it's the whole thing of the mentality, or it's just like they have it better in Mexico, at least like in that bubble of like I'll play here. So that's kind of how it goes down. So now let's talk about we touched on the Lakers a bit. So why don't you tell us about what it takes on with the Lakers?
I could actually talk about this for anybody that knows me personally will attest to. Is I can talk about this for probably 5 hours, but try to keep this short. They start off the season with Mike Brown, their coach, who was coach from last season, who some people didn't think was the best fit for that team because he's been known as a defensive coach, doesn't really know a lot about offense.
The Princeton defense? Yeah,
so this year they try to implement this Princeton offense, which was kind of, I guess, a similar offense to what they used to run with Phil Jackson, which was called the triangle, which is what people say it's like a complicated offensive scheme, but it works well when you have two large players, like 7-foot players like Pau Gasol and Dwight Howard. But it doesn't work out because Mike Brown, I guess he was one of those coaches where, now I'm going way too long, because Mike Brown was, I guess, a little bit overbearing, so I guess the players didn't respond to his style of coaching. They ended up getting rid of him because they weren't producing. They brought in Mike D'Antoni, who's he's, I guess, the opposite of Mike Brown, known as an offensive coach, not known as a defensive coach. I think the main reason is because the Lakers signed Steve Nash, who used to play for Mike D'Antoni. And actually, Kobe Bryant was like a huge Mike D'Antoni fan as a kid when he was growing up in Italy. His dad played in Italy, and so he met D'Antoni there, and that's what he chose the number 8 for when he first started playing.
Oh.
So, there's all these ties. Problem is, Mike D'Antoni is Mike D'Antoni is the offensive coach. The Lakers' problem, I feel, for the last few years has been defense.
Defense.
And so he has this. I'm just gonna, I guess, outline the problems that are going on with the Lakers right now. Is that on offense, you have Kobe Bryant, whose sole purpose as a basketball player, I feel like, is he feels the need to prove that he's better than Michael Jordan, and that's what drives him as a player all the time. So he's at a point in his career where he just wants to prove that I'm 34 years old, I can still do this, I'm still a top-notch player. He kind of throws a monkey wrench into the offense because Mike D'Antoni's offense is based on passing the ball, moving the ball quickly, scoring quickly. Mm-hmm. And Kobe's thing is, I'm going to shoot the ball, I'm going to control the game. It slows the game down when they actually want to move the ball. And I feel like the other players get disconnected because they feel, okay, Kobe's going to shoot the ball. What are we here for if we're just going to watch him? We're just spectators. And then the other problem is their defense. Kobe's getting older. He's not playing defense very well this year. Pau Gasol is older. He's slower. Some of the guys that they signed in the offseason aren't great defenders. So you have a team that's kind of stuttering on offense and then having trouble defending teams. So if you can't score 150 points like you're designed to score, and then you can't hold a team defensively, don't fall asleep on me. But I think
no. I was just like, damn, that's complicated.
Yeah, so that team is struggling on a lot of different fronts. Aside from the fact that Dwight Howard can shoot free throws, aside from some other things, I just feel like that team is gonna
implode.
Either implode or they might fix some things this year and get better and make the playoffs. But I don't think they're gonna win championships, and I feel like they're not going to get over a certain hump, and that's blasphemy for a lot of Lakers fans, but until Kobe Bryant retires, they're not going to be able to move on because he's so singularly focused on proving
his legacy.
Yeah, he's more concerned with his legacy than winning championships. And even though he'll say, I want to win more championships, the only reason he wants to win more championships because it adds to his legacy.
Yeah.
And he knows sorry, now I'm going way too long, but I feel like he knows if Dwight Howard and Steve Nash are like the focal point of that offense and they win a championship, people are going to discredit Kobe and say, well, you couldn't do it without these guys, you know? And in his mind, he wants to be the guy on that team, and they helped him. So until he retires, and they're going to get past that, and good luck. I don't know. They're not fun to watch. So they're not fun to watch. Which I tell people is like, even if they were, not the best team in the league, as long as they were like entertaining to watch and they kind of hustled, I think people would enjoy watching them. But I don't think they do that now. So. It is. I hate saying. I was going to say it is what it is, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is, I guess.
So yeah, you don't see Kobe going to another team.
I don't see him going to another team just because of his legacy. Like he knows going to another team would cheapen his legacy. Like if he went to wherever, if he went to the Bulls and played for a year or something, and he doesn't win a championship, it's like, oh, you went and you tried and you failed. So I think when he says he's going to retire in a year or two, I think he means it because he knows. He knows the whole legacy thing. He knows Jordan came back and when he was too old, and Kareem stayed too long when he was old. So, yeah, he's a little too aware of his legacy for his own good. So, sorry, Laker fans.
Damn. Well, with that, let's just move.
Let's move on, please.
Yeah, let's move on quickly to Galaxy. Finally, Beckham is
That Beckham paid off, man.
Okay.
All that money finally got him some championships.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Except that he was a non-factor in basically the second one. I mean, the first one you can give him some credit, but I mean some credit. But I think that he should have, call it a day with the Galaxy last year. I think he didn't do it because the offers were not good enough, and he thought he still had some sort of chance. Chance for what? For really, I don't. For the Euro Cup, not in. I think he had already made his decision. I think that it was too late, and the fact that, honestly, I think that unfortunately because of Bruce Arena, the Galaxy can't win without him. I mean, he was not a non-factor. Now, Donovan, that's a whole different story. But and that kind of brings me to the point. Finally, Beckham moves on. A year too late for me. And you can please disagree.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I watched a full game in the 5 or 6 years that he was with the Galaxy. Maybe one when I actually went to a game, but on TV I don't think I watched the full 90 minutes of a Galaxy game. Or Chile the same game or a last game.
Yeah, they're not fun at first to watch. Maybe the Seattle ones and the Portland. Yeah, Timbers, but yeah, it's been a bad deal, but who can they bring that? And I don't see anybody. Like they're thinking of Frank Lampard, or they're thinking of Kaká. Who do you think that they might bring? If of these two, or as a
For those two, I'd say Kaká over Lampard. I don't know. I actually don't know. I've seen enough of Lampard. I've seen like a few games, but the games that I did watch, I remember a lot of them were like England national team games, and I felt like he and like Gerrard never really. I felt like their midfield is always like never really meshed, no matter who's on in that midfield. So I don't know. I feel like Kaká's style would probably be a little bit more entertaining. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of like older players.
Drogba.
Yeah.
I would want to see Drogba. I know that I want to see a Galaxy game, but
yeah, like if
Anelka.
Maybe I don't know. I don't feel like he was ever
flashy.
Like he wasn't being a star in Europe for people that even care about him here. I wanted to say I don't even know if he still plays. Like Shevchenko, does he still play?
No, he retired.
He retired. Right? I was like, that's how bad I am. Like trying to bring like a 36-year-old dude.
No, I mean he played like one great game at the Euro Cup, remember? And then he got injured, and that was that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Del Piero, is it too late for him? He's like 38 now, too, right?
He's still playing with Juventus and he does good. So yeah, maybe.
I feel like those older like midfielders that don't have to rely on their speed and they just distribute the ball, like Beckham, can do well enough. I don't know. I mean, I'll be the first one to say I don't watch enough MLS to say like somebody's good or bad enough to be on the team.
No, and speaking of MLS with Chivas, I think that Chivas USA it's been a sorry affair. So I'll just summarize it. It's been like 7 seasons, and Jorge Vergara, the owner of Chivas, had a co-owner, like partner, whatever. And the skinny on that is that finally this year Vergara took full ownership.
Yeah.
And supposedly the Dutch were going to consult him as well, but it just didn't happen. And the rumor is that Antonio Cue, who was like the partner, like he basically ran out of money because like Chivas USA was, bleeding money, and so it's kind of like the last hurrah of next year. So they hired Chelis, the very eccentric Puebla coach or former Puebla coach, and then they're gonna bring a bunch of like has-beens from Chivas. I think that they had Antonio Rodriguez, the backup goalie for the Mexican gold medal team, and a bunch,
there's there's one player, Giovanni Casillas, that's younger, and I think they might get him. And I feel like that move might be okay because he's young and he's probably not gonna get playing time.
Yeah,
Chivas, so that might work out. But yeah, I think like they're saying Mejia maybe.
Yeah, Jordan Mejia. Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bofo's gonna go, which I actually don't. I know you hate him, but see, we don't always agree.
Yeah,
to me, it's like he's one of those players that you can't deny what he did when he was at least in form and wasn't totally crazy. And last time they won a championship when he was playing, so.
That's true, but
I know, that was years ago, but I would probably still check out a game or two just.
Look if he gets in shape,
Yeah, if his head's in it, and otherwise, it'll probably be the same old frustration with that guy, but.
Yeah,
where else is he going to go?
I'm not holding any hope for it. I mean, come on, he was playing at Querétaro last time, so I'm not holding a lot of hope for that. Where did he play besides Querétaro? Oh, Chiapas, Jaguares. Yeah, that was bad too.
Yeah.
So we're just going to wrap it up with the FIFA and the Pro Evolution. Both of the games normally come out in the fall. I got FIFA, he's got Pro Evolution, so we're going to do just kind of like a quick review. So why don't you get us started with the... Pro Evolution.
Yeah, Pro Evolution, for those who haven't really played it, and it was called Winning 11 during the PS2 generation. They started changing the name a bunch of times, so now it's like Pro Evolution Soccer.
It's by Konami, right?
Yeah, by Konami. It was a really solid game in the PS2, but then when they moved to the PS3, it kind of fell apart. The first, I think, 3 editions were pretty bad. I remember buying the first one and I just instantly was disappointed. And from then on, I started playing FIFA, so I bought FIFA 10, I think FIFA 11 and 12. So I played the last FIFA, and I liked them. I mean, I could tell actually that FIFA borrowed a lot from the
Winning 11.
Yeah, the older Winning 11, and they took the good parts and added it to FIFA, and it was an entertaining game. I liked it. I like playing online. I like playing with my friends. I like building up your own player, all that stuff in FIFA. But the thing that I missed about Pro Evolution was that, and I was telling you this earlier, is that when you play the game, it always feels like a different game. Like no matter if it's the same team that you're playing over and over, every game feels like it's like a unique experience. So one game, if you make certain mistakes or you try to do certain things, you kind of end up taking what the defense will give you, or what It doesn't feel like FIFA. I feel sometimes you get stuck in a certain pattern of trying to attack a certain way, or certain passes that you kind of rely on to be successful, and it kind of feels like you have maybe 4 or 5 different ways of playing, and you always kind of stick to those. Mm-hmm. It's like that's what works. And when you play Pro Evolution, it doesn't have the licenses. It doesn't, the graphics aren't as nice. The animations aren't as great. The celebrations aren't as good. A lot of basically everything that FIFA does well, it'll make makes Pro Evolution look bad, but the gameplay itself, I think, is what kind of redeems it. Where you feel like it's almost like if you're watching a game, it's like there's an unpredictability to it that makes it enjoyable. And I told you to just kind of make it shorter that, like when you play it, I can actually enjoy when I lose, even if it's like 1-0 or a 0-0 game. Like you can still have fun with those type of games, and I felt like FIFA, there was a certain, I don't know, like the only way you could have fun is if you won. If that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I haven't played Pro Evolution, and I think I should. I got turned. Like it's weird because I got turned off by the non-licensing part, which I don't know why.
Oh, and it does make a difference, especially if you like the Mexican League. There's no Mexican League. There's no.
There's Copa Libertadores, no?
Yeah, but the bad thing about that is that if you can only play like as Chivas or Tigres and I think Cruz Azul, and you can only play as them in Copa Libertadores. You can't play them like in an exhibition game against.
Really?
Right.
Oh.
So it's like they're there, but they're not really there, which is frustrating. So
which leagues do they have?
They have. It's weird because they have, I think, the Italian league, the Spanish league, where they have the licenses, and the French league, but they don't have the German league, and they have the English league, but it's not all the licenses. So what people end up doing is you can download like people end up editing stuff on their own, and they add like logos and stuff. Ends up looking pretty good, but it's not. It doesn't have all the licenses you'd want, and I feel like Konami actually has been a little bit lazy about it because they know that there's so many people that are just dedicated to just making these updates, which is, it's cool sometimes because you can say you want to make Chivas team from 1997, you can upload your own like graphics and all that stuff and create that team with the uniform and everything, so you can customize it. I guess somebody made a good comparison where it was like, FIFA's like an iPhone where it's like very clean, everything looks nice, like it works well. Android it may not be as good, quote unquote, but you can customize it a lot better to your own needs, which for some people is something better. And I feel like it kind of works. I don't really mess with an Android phone, but I can see that comparison working out because, but FIFA wins on a lot of other stuff.
Yes. I think that, the good thing about FIFA is that they're trying to make different changes, but the thing is that some of those changes stick from one season to the other, from one year to the other, and others, they just kind of, fade away. So the good part is that, there's no longer El Perro Bermudez. They have Fernando Palomo, El Matador Kempes, Mario Kempes, and then, which I thought it was kind of shady, like Procuna, Ciro Procuna from Mexico ESPN. He's also advertised, but he only gives you the injury reports. So he's not actually narrating or giving color. So it's kind of like, you don't really listen to, hear him unless, there's like an injury. And they added a couple things to make it realistic, but the actual game, the ball, moves very randomly. And I think that's how they wanted to, bring some sort of uncertainty. So it's not like a sure thing.
Right.
But it's still a bit complicated. It looks nice. It has all the leagues, and I'm barely going on the career mode. And now if you get good enough, you can actually get contracted to a national team. So that's kind of cool. And the new narrators in Spanish is kind of cool, but. They bring so many different things that sometimes it's just kind of hard to follow. And I don't play as much as I would like to. And so next year they'll have things that I'm like, I didn't even get to use them last year, and they're kind of gone, or they're like augmented to the point that I don't even know how to work them. So, and so that's kind of like the thing. It's just like too much, and they just keep adding. So it's kind of like a big game.
Yeah, and I feel there's a common criticism that people have of sports video games. Where it's the same thing you were saying right now, that you play a game to a certain point, and then by the time I guess you get used to it, or there's certain things that you try or you want to try, there's a new version that's already coming out, and I think people never, there's always something new coming out, and I think a lot of people want the game industry to change that, every year there's a new game, where it's maybe like one game every 2 years and just rely on roster updates and downloadable jerseys or whatever to update the game. And that way you can kind of get used to the game, learn the game, try everything that's in the game, and then that year that I guess they would have trying to make a new game, improve that other game. So you just have, like you said, there's some games where you feel like they took something out and they added something else, and like the defending, I think that was like a good addition in FIFA 12, where it was based more on like funneling people a certain direction, or instead of just one-on-one defending, taking the ball away.
Yeah.
It's just more based on containing players and not letting them pass through open lanes and all that stuff. And I think that improved the game a lot, especially online. I don't know if you played online.
Not a lot, but yeah.
It helped a little bit.
So,
people still do it cheesy, but
yeah. But I mean, it definitely keeps me entertained, and they, like I don't think there's any new leagues. I mean, after the Russian one, I haven't actually seen if they have developed any new leagues. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of my wrap up and your wrap up of the FIFA and Pro Evolution. So, and with that, we're gonna close it. So, any last comments?
No, man. Just maybe we should do this more often.
Yeah. At least once every other year, like
yeah. No, man. I mean, I think we covered a lot of stuff. I think we could cover so many other things, but no, just let's start loving each other.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna leave you there. Send us any comments on Twitter. I don't read my Twitter.
Emotionally and physically.
Oh, okay. So this is getting like that, right? Okay. Well, with that, we're gonna get busy. So, see you.
Busy editing the podcast.
That's what we meant. Yeah. Okay. Bye.